What's going on, y'all? Jordan, another episode of Lightning Latest. Let's get the week started off right. Can't believe it's already the end of close to the end of the second month of the regular season. Kind of wild. We've already flown by this many games, but hey, that's how it works sometimes, you know? I mean, you get really locked in and the flow just hits you and the season's going nice and smooth, and next thing you know, we're in December already, so we're about a week away. Pretty crazy. This time next week will be December 1st, so got a couple of things to talk about today. We're going to talk about Lightning Caps, obviously, from this weekend. What a great week. Flyers sneak peek as well. And, of course, you know, was when we got double barrel game action. We got double barrel what if action as well. So we're going to talk about that. Pretty busy day today, all told. But, hey, that's a Monday for you. So let's get started because we got that Flyers matchup tonight. But first, let's backtrack a tad and talk about Saturday's win over the Caps. Love to see it. 5-3 win over the Caps. Won the season series after losing that 3-2 OT game earlier in the season. Came back and won the last two. So 2-1 series win over the Caps for the season. We'll take it all day. 5-3. We beat them 5-3 on the road. Third straight win of the season. But yeah, we'll take the season series win all day long, baby. Y'all already know how it is. 12-7-2 on the season now. 26 points in the division. Good enough for second. Right behind Detroit with 27. So I can just tell my brother-in-law is very happy about that because he's a Red Wings fan. It's all right. We're playing them this weekend, so it's all good. Yeah, we are 1 point behind division-leading Detroit. They have 27. So we're going to be playing them second time in Detroit this weekend as well. So that's the second. That'll be the end of our trips to Detroit this year after we play them this weekend. That's great. Caps did fall to 11-9-2. They're at 24 points. They are second to last in the Metro Division, actually, only behind the Rangers' 22-point mark. So we'll see to the Rangers last week. Probably not the best either, but we will have a chance to redeem that as well coming up soon. Great night for Brandon Hagel. 2 goals and 2 assists. You'll probably see him on the thumbnail. And then Cooch had a goal and 2 assists of his own. Cirelli and Bjorkstrand also scored for the Bolts. Bjorkstrand scored his second, so we'll take that all day. Cirelli continuing what could be easily his best season to date, and that's what we want to see, right? 3 goals happened in the first 5 minutes and 21 seconds of play. But they did give the Bolts a 2-1 lead after 5 minutes, 21 seconds. So let's see how it happened. Justin Sordiff scored for the Caps just a minute 6 into the game. Gave them a 1-0 lead. JoJo did start on Saturday. So it looks like Vassey's going to be starting tonight against the Flyers. We'll talk about that more here shortly. Then Hagel, first goal of the game. Remember, he had the hat trick, right? Or so he had the 2 goals. First goal of the night. Less than 2 minutes later, shorthanded score. Remember, the Caps were on a power play at that point. Hagel said, no thanks, we'll take the points instead. He was assisted by Cirelli, had his 6th assist of the season, and Chernak got his 4th. And then Bjorkstrand scored at 5:21 on another power play. We scored shorthanded and then on a power play. So Cooch and Radish had his 7th assist. Cooch had his assist as well, so we'll take that. After that opening goal from Sordiff, we scored 4 goals on Logan Thompson. It was Hagel, then Bjorkstrand, a couple other guys. So, you know, we'll take that all day. Logan Thompson actually got pulled after the first 20 minutes, after the opening period. He's only allowed the 4 goals, right? He only saved 2 shots. So they put Charlie Lindgren in, his number 2. He stopped 9 and 10 the rest of the way. Only had that 1 goal allowed later on. So not bad at all. Bolt's assists in the night included the 2 from Hagel, his 9th and 10th. Cooch had his 11th and 12th. Moser had his 6th. The Asus had his 5th. Gutzel had his 10th. Cirelli, Chernak, and Radish all had assists as well. So, you know, plenty of distribution of the puck around the team. That's exactly what we want to see, right? You want to see those players, those guys that are stepping in, night out, really kind of spreading the puck around and finding a way on the score sheet. And as long as a lot of them continue to do that, we continue to see this kind of offensive display we saw against the Capitals. The game against the Flyers tonight should be fine. JoJo rebounded from his rough start against the Canucks last week. He did save 29 shots for a .906 save percentage. Allowed 3 goals, but still way better than he played against Vancouver. He did allow a goal in each period, but the Bolts attack, especially those 4 goals in the first period, really helped. Consistently throughout the night, too, we were shooting. It's kind of funny because we scored those 5 goals, but it was really on, 16 shots. That's it. We didn't shoot too much. But the shots we did get in, we really had just contribution from around the ice, and that's exactly what you want to see. Point and Cooch did leave with injuries at various points, so we're going to have to keep an eye on them over the next few days. Cooch should be back in the lineup tonight against the Flyers, as far as we know, according to Coop and everybody else, but still worth keeping an eye out. Pointer, hopefully these next few days having off will give him a little bit of a break and really help him get back to where he needs to be. Coop said post-game, he described the win as a gutty effort with a really short bench, which I can 100% get behind, and a lot of us can as well. We know that the Bolts are hurting right now, especially defensively with multiple injuries to starters. And that's, sometimes you just got to step up and play better hockey. And that's what they're doing lately. Hagel kind of reminded me of this on this quote. He said this. He said, on any team, you lose two of your best players, a.k.a. Cooch and Point. It can kind of deflate you. But everyone seemed to pick up that 5% for those guys. Throughout the lineup, we battled, dug deep, kept it simple. We were able to do it. And that just shows the depth we have on our team, and I was very proud of the group. So, and Hagel's heating up too. Sorelli's heating up. A lot of these players are really starting to get into that zone where we want to see them, right? Because we're trying to be a Stanley Cup caliber team once again. Players like that, doing what they're supposed to do, especially when other players are hurt, picking up the team, that's exactly what you want to see. Hagel did that and more. Really excited to see if he can continue doing it tonight against the Flyers, because we're looking pretty good against the Flyers, if I'm being honest with you. Coming to the first match of the season against the Flyers, winners of 3 straight, right? We're in second place at the Atlantic now, so we've been playing a lot better than we did to open the season. I remember that Coop quote from a couple weeks ago, right? He said he thought we used those first few games as more like an exhibition. I feel like we did. It's what it feels like. Cooch was on the ice for morning skate this morning. Good sign he'll be out there tonight. Point was not, though. Point was still out. He'll probably be out for a couple more days. Coop, they mentioned him a little bit more. In addition to Point, Chernak had been McDonough and Crozier did not participate in the Monday morning skate, but Pontus Holmberg did. So he's closer to getting his return. And then Max Groshev was recalled from Syracuse, so could be interesting to see what he has. I don't think he'll be playing tonight. Benjamin Pierce from the Bolts team site really kind of said he doesn't expect to see him tonight, so I don't think we will. Lines this morning included first line was Hagel, Cirelli, and Cooch. Moser and Radish is the first defensive pair, which we've been seeing a lot of lately. The second line was Guentzel, James, and Goncalves, with the Astus and Lilleberg serving as a second pairing, and then third pairing. Third line was Gergensons, Nick Paul, and Yanni Gord, with Carlyle and Santini showing that third pairing. Holmberg and Groshev were the extra forward and defensemen today. I don't expect to see them tonight against the Flyers. That fourth line, though, was Douglas, Finley, and Bjorkstrand. So should be interesting to see just how much, a lot of these younger guys that are rising throughout the lineup. For example, obviously, we could talk about Hagel, but he's not a younger guy. Goncalves on the second line is nice. We have Mosier on the first line defense, Diastis and Lilleberg. A lot of young players really trying to step up and prove that they are something but worth the time and the effort that we put into. I think that, seeing these players out there and really seeing what they can do, especially while we have a lot of these key players like Hedman and McDonough hurt, it's not a bad idea, especially on defense. The Flyers are having a pretty solid season. They're 11-6-3, fourth place tie in the Metro with Pittsburgh and Columbus. They each have 26 points. The goalie tandem of Dan Vladar and Samuel Urson, though, has really helped propel them to this start. Vladar and Urson both are playing well. They're balancing each other quite nicely. Be interesting to see which one is in net tonight for the Flyers. Vasi was the first goalie off the ice earlier today, so he's likely going to start, especially since JoJo started on Saturday against the Caps. Finley also worked in the top power play unit in practice on Monday, so that's interesting. We saw Jack Finley in there, alongside Cooch, Guentzel, Radish, and Bjorkstrand. So seeing another one of these young guys really stepping up and playing well, and looking to prove themselves. Remember, we talked about the beginning of the season, right? That Finley wanted to make a contribution on faceoffs and other things. Well, having made a contribution here on the power play is fantastic, and that's something we really want to see moving forward. Coop, lastly, did provide a couple of injury updates before tonight's matchup. He said Chernak is for sure week to week, so he's going to be out for a little bit, most likely. Point won't play tonight, and he's kind of dicey for Wednesday's game against the Flames. That's the next game we got. It's another home matchup before we head back on the road. And then Holmberg is getting closer, but he's not going to play tonight. He's getting closer, but he's probably going to be a healthy scratch tonight. So we'll take it. We need these players back and healthy, especially, these defensive contributors. However, these young guns like Carlisle and Santini, Lilleberg, DeAstus, a lot of our defense core is young right now. So they can all step up and play well, and that's good news for us, especially moving forward, because remember, right before the season, we harped on that next wave. We could be seeing it here. Couple barrel what if, though. First is Sonny Milano to the Bolts. He's a winger for the Caps. 2014 first-round pick by the Blue Jackets. He spent 4.5 years with Columbus. They went to Anaheim ahead of the 2019-2020 deadline. Did spend 2.5 years there before joining up with the Capitals ahead of the 2022-2023 season. So he's never played a full season at the NHL level. Maxing out with 66 games in 21-2022. His last season with the Ducks. During his time with the Caps, his ice time has gone down dramatically. 15.54 time on ice 2 seasons ago. Then he went to 12.54. Then he went to 12.30 and 49 games 2 seasons ago. Last year was only 7 minutes and 12 seconds of time on ice. But he only played in 3 games because he had a lot of injuries. In 11 games so far this year, Milano scored 4 points, 3 goals, and an assist. And 10 of 6 time on ice, so it's gone back up. +1, +-. So, right now he's on the 4th line with the Caps. He's going to be UFA next offseason. Would he be able to help out our 3rd and 4th lines as well? Well, right now, we just talked about the 3rd and 4th lines. 3rd and 4th lines. 3rd line is Gergensons, Paul, Gord. 4th line is Douglas, Finley, Bjorkstrand. Really, the only guy I can see needing to be replaced is Curtis Douglas. But the reason why he's on the roster, as we all know, simply put, is just to hit people. Can Sonny Milano do that? I don't think I would trust a pretty injury-prone guy to do that. That being said, offensively, stays healthy, he can contribute. And that's what we need, right? We need healthy players that can contribute. So if Sonny Milano shows he can do that, and the Caps continue to struggle, it is possible, especially because he'll be a UFA next summer. He definitely has talent. There's going to be suitors for him next offseason, too, even if he doesn't re-sign with the Caps. But remember, we have all those young players trying to make a mark, right? Geeky's back in Syracuse, ready for a chance. Jack Finley's going to be on the power play, hopefully, tonight. Dominic James is coming back. Goncalves, all these young players that really need to step up and play better. I think Sonny Milano might get in the way. At the same time, though, he'd be an interesting addition because of the offense he brings. But we could maybe use more help on the other end. I like Dan Vladar. 2015, 3rd-round pick by the Bruins. He played 5 games for Boston in 2021. Then he went to Calgary. He was the number 2 for the Flames the last 4 seasons. This season is first with the Flyers. He's played in 13 games, all starts. 8-4-1 record with a 2.42 GAA, 912 save percentage, which is the highest mark of his career. GAA as well, best mark of his career. So, yeah, it's only 13 games, so a bit of a small sample size, and he is splitting time with Urson. But he could be worth a longer look. Sorry? Haven't had my caffeine yet today. Last season in his final year with Calgary, definitely the biggest one of his career so far. 30 games, 29 starts, 12-11-6 with a 2.80 GAA and 898 save percentage. So while the save percentage might not have been the best, he's shown that if he gets more reps, he could be a number 1. And that's something we've seen in Philly this year, too. Remember, we have Bassey locked in as our number 1, though. We have JoJo as our number 2. JoJo's been playing well. He kept us in the game. I mean, he, did allow that early goal to the Cats, but then once he got settled in, he was fine. If the Bolts did trade with Vladar, I would assume JoJo would probably go the other way back to Philly, since most teams don't carry 3 goalies. And, the Flyers situation in goal is intriguing because Urson's going to be a restricted free agent next year. Vladar will be an unrestricted free agent in 2027. So the tandem continues to play well. Would Philly GM Dan Briere even want to move one of them? I think it behooves the Bolts to at least listen for both, though. Because if JoJo continues to be up and down a bit, maybe it's worth improving that second spot we talked about before the season. So, tomorrow, pretty busy one. Obviously, What If was going to be a lot of fun, but we're going to talk about a few different things too. Another Bolt Young Gun, a recap of the Flyers matchup, and more. So, this is Jordan Llanes signing off, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one.